Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Wednesday, or not Wednesday, it's Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. We got a 25-25. That's good. Shout out to all the boys with OCD listening to this one. I know we've got a whole group of them coming together to figure out current events, figure out what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? They have OCD. They want to put the pieces together, but, this time of year, it has to be tough if you have OCD, right? Winter is over, but, during winter, you're tracking around snow and stuff, and you're getting the salt in between your shoes, and you're just getting that all over the carpet. Or maybe you're not, but people definitely are. Even if you're tentative about that, you're still getting salt and snow all over the carpet and shit, and you're just like, no. And then fucking spring, forget about it. Forget it. If you have OCD in spring, you need to isolate. You need to just tell everyone you're sick. Just tell them you got cancer or something. Just lock yourself in a rubber fucking room, because having OCD during spring sounds like hell, dude. All the fucking bugs, all the mud everywhere. Unless you live in the fucking desert, I think you're just going to be fucked all year round if you have OCD. If you have, real OCD, I'm not talking about this bullshit OCD where people are like, I have to keep my pen straight. And it's like, no, that's just convenience. That's just being, there's a difference between being organized, where you're like, yeah, I want to be able to do shit easily, and being like, you not being able to function if, I don't know, you have a certain thought. Because people can just, be OCD inside their heads, too. This is a crazy fact I didn't know. Because OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder, right? And so if you just, you have an obsession, and then you have, a compulsion that goes alongside with that obsession. So it can be completely inside your own head. And I would say, if you're horny enough, you have OCD, Look, think about it. You have an obsession. There's a compulsion, Some of us is just, just start stroking, you know what I mean? I'm straight ready to go right out of the box. Some people, they got to pull the lawnmower handle a little harder to get things going. Not me, dude. I'm one stroke and we're done. It's engine started, flying full speed, But other people, they got some other compulsions that go alongside there, They got to shove a few Sharpies up there, up their butt, or their dick tips, or I don't know, or their vagina holes, whatever, before they really get it going. I'm not like that. So maybe I'm not OCD in the horny department, but I feel like we all got a little something we obsess about. Some people, it's sports. Think about that. People are obsessed with sports, and they just have this weird compulsion of screaming at the TV, which is only valid when I do it, by the way. When everyone else does it, when everyone else screams at the TV during sports, they're fucking insane losers who just can't comprehend the world around it. When I do it, it's because I'm in complete emotional distress, because these people, this team I care about deeply, is messing it up, right? They're screwing themselves over. So when I do it, it's from an empathetic place. When everyone else does it, they're just fucking retarded. So that's the way that works. I'm just coming down and I'm laying down the law. That's what these episodes are all about, all right? Daddy's got to come in with the fucking wooden spoon and put that shit straight on some ass, all right? On some fresh, pasty white ass. I got to leave a red mark right there. Listen here. Only I'm allowed to yell at the TV. I've never been someone that gets super emotional about movies. Even sports, I can get a little bit. If I feel like something's complete bullshit, which is what they want. That's what all sports are designed for, is to be at least on a corporate level like that, is to get you in a space where you're like, what the fuck? Because if you're happy the whole time, you're not satisfied. You can't be satisfied if there was it's like if you were never hungry in your life and you just ate a bunch of food one day. You'd just be like, all right, whatever, it's just food. Who gives a shit? But if you're hungry, if you spend a lot of your life hungry, which I haven't, and the food's still satisfying, so maybe that point is null. Because this is a Jim Gaffigan bit, but I can't remember the last time I was actually fucking hungry. I've gone 3 days without eating. Even then, you're not that fucking hungry. You're like, I really want some food right now. You can once you go up super long time without eating, and I got a boy who's allegedly on a fast right now. Once you go a super long time without eating, you start every time you smell food or whatever, it's the best food you've ever smelled in your entire life. You can taste it in your mouth. You're full on fucking dog in a cartoon. Your tongue completely rolls out of your mouth like a fucking fruit roll up, like a measuring tape, and you just start drooling. Eyes pop out of your head. That's fully what it's like. You start floating towards the Mexican food truck, just a 300-pound Latina woman cooking up some absolutely disgusting slop, and there's nothing you want more in the world, but everything smells so good. It could be something you fucking hate, and it still smells delicious. You're like, I remember my whole thing was like every time my parents would like cook something or anyone would cook something or I would smell food of any kind, I'd be like, smells like fried chicken and bacon. It's not. It's like they're making not even like meat. They're like making potato soup, and I'm like, oh, it smells like fried chicken and bacon all sizzling. I can hear it sizzling in the pan, dude. You like psyop yourself into being like, yeah, that's what's going on, and they're cooking it right up for me. They know Fat Boy. They know Fat Boy needs to gnaw on some chicken bones right now. That's what's going on in there, and it's never fried chicken, dude. It never is. I don't know. People look, if you're racist, obviously it's a nonsensical thing, but like even in and of itself, even within the logic system of racism, it still doesn't make any sense, right? And here's where I'm going with that. Fried chicken is hard as shit to make. If you've ever made fried chicken, you know that. Like, it's just, you got like this, you need like 14 gallons of fucking oil. Even if you're cooking it like a half fry, you still need a lot of fucking Crisco or vegetable oil or whatever you're making it with. You know, beef tallow. If you're making it with, you still need a lot of fucking whatever you're cooking it with. And then you have to like batter the chicken. Sometimes you have to fucking marinate it too. I don't do that. You don't need to do all that when you're frying chicken. All right, you're already putting fat and carbs all over it. You don't need to put fat and carbs inside of it. Put some seasoned flour on it, some eggs maybe, or you can make yourself a nice batter. That's always a good way to go, but you don't need to be doing all that with fucking with fried chicken. People do way too fucking much with fried chicken. Maybe some buffalo sauce on there, but anything else, you're just getting excessive. Like people that like dip it in like gallons of ranch or whatever. It's like, dude, what? I get it. Ranch is fucking delicious. It's fat and seasoning together. I understand, but like, we got to get some control of ourselves sometimes. It's like, you know, I'm glad to live in America. I really am. You know, we have so much food. We have maybe a little too much food, though, is the point I'm getting to. Like, if you go to any major city, or really anywhere, and you find a homeless person, 9 times out of 10, they're fat. And I'm talking like a classic bum. You know what I mean? Maybe bum is a better way to put it. I'm not talking like a junkie or like a schizo that's like making plans for a fucking spaceship on a brick wall. I'm talking about like a real classic, you know, styrofoam cup full of dimes type of bum. Those guys are usually pretty fat. And, you know, if you find a skinny one, those are the ones you give money to. I'm sorry. If you're fat and you're homeless, this might be the motivation some people need to lose weight. So I'm gonna say it. I know this is homeless people's favorite podcast because I too am schizophrenic. So they really enjoy it. They really relate to that. But I feel like if you're fat, I'm not giving you dimes. The only way Americans will ever be able to like lose weight consistently, like en masse, like a large amount of Americans is like if there's another incentive, like if there's another greed-based incentive, it's like, dude, if you want to be rich, you got to lose weight. You know, you got to get fat after you get rich. You got to be like a skinny little kid that's like sweeping chimneys and shit if you want to be fat and rich. But you can't be fat before you're rich. Very few people get there. Very few. And most of the people that do get there like kind of blindly stumble into it. You know? Like your family owns all the fucking steamboats and the railroads in Mississippi, so you're just born fat or whatever. But you have to start out skinny, especially when you're a little kid, dude, and you can't be wearing shoes, dude. If you want to be rich, you got to have dirty, busted up feet, and you got to be skinny as hell. You have to be like a full-on monkey. You have to be able to climb a tree, a decent-sized tree. I'll give you a pine. If you can climb a 40-foot pine in under 3 minutes, you're going to be rich when you grow up, okay? Any young children listening to this, that's just a statement of fact. And yeah, what's been going on in my life? I know everyone's wondering. That's obviously the next topic we got going on here. We go from kids that are like monkeys are going to grow up to be rich straight to what's going on in my life. But what's been going on in my life is I had a chemistry lab this morning, and chemistry lab, sometimes you get assigned partners, at my school at least. Sometimes you get assigned partners. Sometimes you just pair up with whoever you want. And by coincidence today, right, it was like pair up with whoever you want today. And like the 2 most autistic people in the whole class got paired up. And I was like, dude, I was actually kind of pissed that I was like on the opposite side of the room from them, because I'm a big Love on the Spectrum guy. I don't have Netflix anymore, but that show is so fucking good. It's just, and people are like, oh my God, you're laughing at them. And it's like, no, dude, I'd be laughing at anyone on a date. Like as I've said before, I'm a big Love Island fan. I laugh and ridicule those people more than I do the autistic people. Like the autistic people, I'm smiling, but I'm not laughing. I got like I got I got a cherubic grin on my face when I'm watching Love on the Spectrum. Just because those guys, goddamn it, a notification just played at 120 decibels on my fucking computer. But anyway, those fucking autistic people, they're just having a grand old time, and they're not holding back. Like, they're not trying to be something they're not. Like, they try for about 30 seconds. They're like, all right, I'm going to be a cool, suave guy. And then the girl brings up, like, SpongeBob or The Amazing World of Gumball, and they start doing SpongeBob impressions. They're like, do you remember that episode where Squidward went to space? That was a pretty good one. And it's just, they go straight into it, and I admire it. I really do. So to miss out on, like, what was basically a live taping of Love on the Spectrum was just one of the biggest disappointments in my life. I was like looking at my partner, and I was waiting for him to not show up, like the dude I normally pair up with. I was like, dude, just fucking skip today. Come on. I just want to go right next to this group and fucking watch them. Just watch the animals in the wild. See what happens. It would like be not animals. It would be like encountering like a celebrity or something. You know how like some people are obsessed with Taylor Swift? This is my Taylor Swift. Just to see like two pretty autistic people interact with each other would just, it's the highlight of my year. And they're two solid ones, you know what I mean? They're not like this bullshit autistic. Like, if you've watched Love on the Spectrum, there's that one girl, I think her name is Katie or whatever, and it's like, dude, oh my, this is like a technicality, right? It's like, it's just some bullshit, you know what I mean? It's like the MVP almost at this point. It's like, yeah, I mean, technically he's the best, but like, come on, what the fuck are we doing here? Let's have some fun with it, you know? She's the type of autistic this chick is on Love on the Spectrum it's not a fun type at all. It's the most boring type imaginable. It's really just the type to justify shit. You know, it's like, sorry, I can't come into work today. I'm autistic. That's the type of autism she has. It's not like the fun type where it's like, dude, I spent $18,000 on Dungeons and Dragons and I live in a dungeon in my parents' basement. This shit is fucking lit. It's not that type. It's not the fun type. It's the bullshit type. I don't enjoy it one bit. And anyone that is that type of autistic, just, if you are that type of autistic, go to the nearest wall, preferably brick, but if you can find a stud and some drywall, that's fine too. And just bash your head into it until you're until you become, like the high level autism, or you're just not autistic anymore. I've had enough of it. It's bullshit. And yeah, I don't know. I can't enjoy it. It's like those people that are like that businessman's a psychopath, and it's like, I can't enjoy that type of psychopath. I like the fun type of psychopath that's like running around killing people, whatever type of person. It could be man, woman, whatever. Just as long as they're killing, that's more exciting than a guy who just like is fine with slavery, which we're all fine with slavery, and let's not pretend like we aren't, okay? As Americans, if you're an American or really anyone in the Western world listening to this, you're fine with slavery. And that's perfectly okay, dude. You are a Confederate, and that's fine. But, yeah, I mean, we're all okay with slavery. Without slavery, no one would be listening to this. I wouldn't be recording it. I wouldn't really be doing anything. Like, if iPhones and shit were still made in America, no one would have them. It would be like having like a TV in like having like a color TV in the 1950s. That's what an iPhone would be like if they were still made in America. And speaking of America, we're starting off with our first current event, all right? And this is from AP News. I feel like I got to say the news station that I'm getting it from every time. But our headline is, where the fuck is our headline at? All right, looks like we're not getting a headline. Looks like this whole page isn't loading just in general. Okay, here's our headline. Trump officials texted attack plans to a group chat in a secure app that included a journalist. All right? So they got together on the group chat. It might have been Snapchat. Trump might have been send a snap with the dog face emoji on it with the tongue sticking out, being like, we're invading Iran today, and being like, dude, no one is ever going to see this. Snapchat disappears, you fucking idiots. My Snapchats, they're the best. So creative, so funny. My streaks aren't just like normal streaks. They're the best streaks. Okay? Sometimes I send people pictures of my balls, but I draw on the balls first. It makes it very funny. It's very entertaining. And I have done that. I've never done a ball one before, just because my balls are like, it's almost medical. Looking at my nuts, it's like, I don't think it can be funny in any way, shape, or form, just because my nuts they're almost textbook. I got a textbook pair of balls. Not a dick. I have like a horror book dick, but like I got like a textbook pair of balls. Not too hairy, but not completely hairless either. Nice and smooth. A few wrinkles on there, but nothing crazy, especially in the summer. In the summer, I got a sack incredibly smooth. I get a very smooth sack in the summer. I got a sack so smooth you could fucking ice skate on that thing. That thing is 100% frictionless in the summer. And that's why I don't send it over Snap. But I don't think this was over Snap. It was over Signal or something. But top national security officials for President Donald Trump, including his defense secretary, texted plans for upcoming military strikes in Yemen to a group chat in a secure messaging app, included the editor-in-chief for The Atlantic. I don't know how the fuck he got in there. The Atlantic is one of those newspapers, because it's not like this guy's part of like the fucking Illuminati or the deep state or the fucking cabal or whatever. Like The Atlantic, that's like having like a BuzzFeed, like the Daily Beast. They accidentally included some dude from the Daily Beast, and that's basically what happened. But it was posted on Monday. The National Security Council said the text chain appears to be authentic. They're like, dude, the Secretary of War always uses fucking emojis. It's so goddamn annoying. Yeah, this guy, he's in the real group chat. Oh, what? He did a thumbs up emoji. All his emojis are black, even though he's white. Yeah, that's him. They got us. That's how they identified it. They saw a white guy using black emojis. But Yemen, 2.5 hours before it was reported. 2.5 hours after it was reported? No big fucking... And even if it was 2.5 hours before it was reported, it's fucking Yemen, dude. And it's not even like the Yemeni government. Yemeni? So whatever, however you pronounce it. It's the fucking Houthis. It's like the shitty, like, Al-Qaeda, not even Al-Qaeda level. They're like fucking... They're like Minutemen, basically. Like, they can't communicate with each other. They definitely don't have the internet. It's just like, this is the level of shit we're talking about here. These aren't like high-level people that like... They probably heard about it. They probably haven't even heard about this yet. They're probably going to hear about it in like 6 months when a ship finally arrives in one of like their shitty fishing villages or whatever. They're going to be like, oh, they're attacking us. The attack happened 6 months ago. And they also didn't hear about the attack either because they're so not interconnected with each other. They're just, it's like 5 random villages in the desert. One of them gets blown to smithereens and the other 4 never hear about it. That's basically what happened. But yeah, I don't see what the big deal is here. Even if they did hear about it, they're like, okay, we heard about it. Now we're going to shoot down their F-35s. No one's shooting down an F-35, whether you tell them about it or not. And I think most things in war are like, maybe not all of them, but I feel like a lot of it you hear about is like they tell the other side before they do it. They're like, all right, we're going to bomb the shit out of this place just to let you guys... I think they like let them know to like evacuate civilians or whatever, but maybe not in this case because the civilians are the people you're trying to kill because that's what like a rebel group is. It's not like an official army. It's not like the Houthis have like scrolls of paper or whatever that they're writing down in their fucking windings font being like, all right, and this guy is in the military and this guy is in the... No, they're not doing all that. So they're killing civilians, and either way, civilians are going to get killed here. It's not like they're going to evacuate them either. And that's like a big part of like how rebel groups operate. They kind of use like non-combatant civilians as like a shield around them to be like, all right, well, you can kill us. You're going to be able to kill us. There's zero doubt about that. You could end this entire rebel group, but you're going to have to kill like a fuck ton of civilians to be able to do it. And that's the whole reason why so many rebel groups are able to fight off like these big giant empires. It's because they use like the populace as a shield. And that's why when the God Emperor Baron Trump comes in, not anymore. All right, that guy is ruthless. That's a real psychopath businessman. He's like a Dick Cheney level guy where he's like, fucking, I'll turn that place into a fucking parking lot and I'll enjoy it and I'll do it just to get another like 4 years. Even if it bumps my approval rating by 0.5%, I'll fucking do it. That's the type of psychopath we're dealing here with Baron Trump. I've done it. I've done the analysis. Just looking at it, I can tell by his face. That's a man that was raised by like a nanny, He wasn't even raised by his parents. He was raised by like a soulless Jamaican woman. Just, Baron, what are you doing? Baron, you got to put on your suit before we can go to the thing. That guy, I don't think Baron spoke to his mother or his father for probably the first 15 years of his life. And even then, they were still barely corresponding. I'm sure Trump talked to the media more than he talked to Barron in his life. I think that's, even if he did raise him directly, I feel like that's still a fact. Trump fucking loves talking to the media. You know, he talks to the media like they're like his frenemy almost, where he's like, dude, I'm so excited to see this guy, and just talk shit to him the entire time. Yeah, you're a fucking pussy, dude. That's what Trump does. That's what he enjoys doing, and can you blame him for it? That's pretty fucking fun. You know, having a nice frenemy. It's like Baljeet and Buford. And Trump is definitely, he might be a Baljeet and a Buford all in one. Trump might be the bully and the nerd at the same time. But I feel like he was never, that guy's like impossible to bully. Trump, you're fucking gay, dude. I'm going to give you a swirly now. I'm the best at taking swirlies. No one takes a swirly better than I do. You put me in there and I enjoy it because I'm a freak like that. I'm probably going to come on you if you do that to me, so you can do it or not. It really makes no difference to me, you know? That's the type of guy we're dealing with here. And that's why he won, and that's why he'll continue to win. And also because people don't realize that. They look at Trump and they're like, oh, I'm going to fucking roast the shit out of it. It's like, no, he enjoys that. Like, I'm pretty sure there was like a roast of Donald Trump or something like that on Comedy Central. It's, as long as you're paying attention to him, you're not going to stop him. You have to ignore him completely, you know what I mean? It's like what's that guy's name? Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer or whatever. Just listen to his advice about like any unruly dog and apply that to Trump, and that's how you stop it. But these people don't seem to realize that. And that's like most people just are kind of Trump in that way. Like, they just want to argue because arguing is more fun than doing nothing. And that reminds me of this thing I saw on Twitter. It was like, the post was a drawing that Hitler did next to like a Jewish painting. And that was the entire tweet. It was like, look at how much better Hitler is at drawing than this guy who's painting this Jewish guy who like painted like 3 lines or whatever. It was like a picture of a castle next to like some bullshit abstract painting. And this guy responded to it with like a legitimate critique of Hitler's art, which is just so, it's so fucking funny to me that like, you see this thing, you're like, oh, Hitler? Yeah, that guy was a shitty artist. It's like, what the fuck? Just ignore it or be like, no, that's, Hitler did that. You know that, right? You know what else Hitler did? Yeah, I don't really care about the art. Oh, he was really good at like drawing chicks' faces. Yeah, he killed 11 million people. So either way, I'm not impressed by that. But this dude actually dropped like a legitimate art critique, which is as legitimate as that can be. It's still barely legitimate. It's not a real thing. You know, it's almost like psychology or whatever. Like, psychology is just a complete guess. Same with art. But people in art, like at least psychology, there's like the DSM or whatever, like I don't know, it's like some psychological, like really important like text that they use to like analyze people. I don't know. At least that gets updated every like few years. Art's just completely random. They're just like, all right, fucking blindly throwing darts at a board. That's what art critiquing is. It's like, I'm just going to choose one random thing about this, completely good or bad, and I'm just going to dismantle this part of it. And that's what art critique is. But it is very funny. It's also funny to me that you think you're going to change someone's mind about Hitler, especially through the fucking internet, dude. Because Hitler, I'm going to say it, controversial figure. It's a very divisive guy, I feel like, in my personal opinion. And to think that you're going to take someone who already is on the other side of this completely divisive issue and like change his mind about it, especially through the anonymity, however the fuck you say it, of the internet, you're not going to do that. You're not going to change really anyone's mind about anything ever. You're not going to change someone's mind about whether pepperoni or cheese pizza is better. And by the way, it's fucking pepperoni. If you eat cheese pizza, I just assume that you're emotionally stunted or a pedophile. Those are the only 2 options. Cheese pizza is for 4-year-olds. You know what I mean? That's like the first thing you give your baby when it can eat solid foods is fucking cheese pizza. That shit is for children. And even I probably never ate it. Even my family is probably like, no, dude, we're giving him a full fucking meat lovers. He can eat solid food now. We're going from baby food to a fucking Totino's meat lovers pizza. All right? We're not playing this bullshit. We're getting the Papa John's, the Shaq-a-Roni with like 80,000. Dude, if you've ever had the Shaq-a-Roni pizza, that thing is fucked up, dude. We need to get Papa John's back in there. I don't care what he said. The Shaq-a-Roni pizza is fucked up, dude. That thing is just a pile of grease. It's probably a pound of uncooked pepperoni And then once you cook the pepperoni, it probably loses a little bit of weight out of the actual pepperoni itself, but all the weight it loses is like the fat that melts out of it. So there's just like a half a pound of fat, just like a thick, like a fucking ice layer, a glacier of fat on top of the pizza, and it just spills everywhere. It's not, I'm not a big fan of the shakaroni. You know, you can't go too overboard with toppings. If you're gonna put like a fuck ton of meat on a pizza, you gotta be strategic with that. You know, we need like some structural. That's what Italians figured out, right? Like Americans haven't figured that out yet. I think the Italians have figured out like the perfect ratio of like Da Vinci or whatever in the 1500s figured out the perfect ratio and what type of toppings you're gonna want to put on there, you know. And that's how they figured out Italian architecture. It's based on pizza and pasta. Like all the columns are like based on penne. The domes or whatever, like the things that support the dome, they're like, and this is an angel hairstyle, and this is how we support. Okay, that was fucking awful. But you guys get the point. Italians love pizza and pasta. But yeah, cheese pizza is for children. If you eat it, you are a child, and I can't respect it. Like, that's the one thing that could get me. Like, people are like, Trump is cutting Social Security or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, don't pretend to care about old people now. No one gives a shit about old people. I don't know where this came from. Like during coronavirus or whatever, when people were like, you need to wear a mask because old people can get sick and die. And it's like, yeah, that's what they do. That's what they've been doing since the beginning of time, is getting sick and dying. It's like their entire thing. Like they just get like a cold or whatever, and it's like, all right, that's game over. Or they trip when they're walking on a completely flat surface, and that's the end of their life. Right? I don't get this whole thing where people are now pretending to care about old people. Like, we have an entire system set up, a giant system that's a pretty significant part of the economy in this country that is just getting rid of old people and ignoring them entirely. And now everyone's being like pretending to care about old people. They're like, no, Trump's cutting Social Security. And it's like, all you do is talk about how racist and shitty boomers are. And now you're like, he can't cut Social Security. Pick a fucking side, dude. I'm on the side, always hated old people. You know, besides my grandpa, all old people are shit, okay? Mine's the only good one. All other boomers, all old people are shit. Even Silent Generation is even worse because they're the one that raised the fucking boomers. Everyone always talks so much shit about the boomers. They sold all our jobs overseas. They got us involved in a bunch of 20-year endless wars. But no one talks about the people who raised them. How fucked up were they? Oh, what's your excuse? You watched all your friends die in World War II? Shut the fuck up, dude. You raised the bitch that sold my job overseas. I could have been in a lawnmower factory right now, but no. You had to get drunk all the time and completely ignore your children. You had to feed your wife lobotomy in a bottle and drink all day and just ignore your children. Now I can't work in a goddamn lawnmower factory. Social Security, out of here. All right, you old ass bitch. But yeah, that's our Trump piece of thing today. And just like last week, we got a little bit of celebrity news going on, okay? This is from Outkick. And once again, whoever wrote this article is probably in a secure national security group chat with with the Secretary of War and the Secretary of Defense or whatever. But Sean Joseph from the Daily Outkick wrote, Jennifer Coolidge credits White Lotus for getting her more men than American Pie. Let's read about this. Jennifer Coolidge enjoyed all the perks that came with playing Stifler's mom in American Pie franchise. The role provided her with plenty of dating options over the years. Or she's just like a chick. She's like a hot rich chick. Maybe that's what did it. Maybe it wasn't the fact that she was in a movie that I've kind of heard of. Maybe it's the fact that she's a millionaire and also a woman. I feel like just being a woman gives you more opportunities than Tom Cruise being in like all the Mission Impossibles combined. Like just having a vagina puts you past making $81 billion movies, you know what I mean? Being the most famous man in the world, that can be completely circumvented if you just turn your penis inside out, you know? But what else do they have to say about our Queen Jennifer Coolidge? But as all good things do, this too has all come to an end. The 63-year-old's days of being chased by men looking for a good time with the iconic MILF, Janine Stifler, are almost completely behind her. All right. This guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Sean Joseph? Yeah, this guy has 2 fucking first names. I'm not gonna take anything he says, even with a grain of salt. This is complete bullshit, all right? I know at least 70% of the male population would fuck Jennifer Coolidge right now. You know, she's got a nice surgery face going on. She is fat. She does, and it's not like a good fat either. It's not like she's a BBW. She's a she's a BBB. She's a big beautiful blob. You know what she does? She doesn't carry the weight well, but it's, I would still say 70% of American men, regardless of marital or relationship status, even sexuality, would fuck Jennifer Coolidge. You know, let's pull up a picture here of Jennifer Coolidge, because I feel like, I don't know, from what I remember about her, she's just like a nice, and she's very, very stupid. That's another thing that makes her attractive. Yeah, perfect surgery face, dude, and she's got the tit implants as well. They're not showing us any full body pictures. So let's check this out. Here's her in a dress. Yeah, she is built kind of like if Patrick Starr. Yeah, she's kind of built like Patrick Starr, you know what I mean? If you've ever seen that picture of SpongeBob or whatever where Patrick Starr takes off his pants and he's just completely smooth everywhere, that is kind of how Jennifer Coolidge is built, but she does got the titty implants. She does have like a nice surgery face. She's kind of like if Dolly Parton like completely disregarded like any diet. That's kind of what Jennifer Coolidge looks like at this point. And I would say probably 95% of the male population, especially now that she's single. Dolly Parton, her husband did die recently, but I can imagine that at that funeral, the majority of the men there were like trying to slide up on Dolly Parton and be like, hey, how you doing, Dolly? Because Dolly still got it. Dolly got like a nice surgery face going on. She's got the big fake tits. She's got, I mean, absolute bolt-ons, dude. These things look like they're made out of concrete or something. They are truly, truly ridiculous. It's like the Bogdanov twins, who are, if you don't know, they're these dudes that got like mountains of plastic surgery in their face, just like in real like plastic surgery. Like someone just put an empty bottle of fucking Fiji in their face. That's what these guys look like. Their faces are fucked up, but I would say that's like the equivalent of what Dolly Parton's tits look like right now. They truly are ridiculous. Ridiculous. They ridiculous as hell, bro. You could use Dolly Parton's tits as like an anvil to like shape like a fucking broadsword to go to war with. But look, you can't. Hey, she's what, 70 years old? She's still fucking trying, dude. She's still swinging, you know, even if she's ass. It is, and it's not like watching Shaq play on like the Celtics or Cavs or whatever, where you're like, dude, this dude fucking sucks. It's still impressive, you know. It's not as great as it once was. Young Dolly Parton, dude. I don't know how she stopped them, dude. How young Dolly Parton stopped all the dudes from like crawling on stage, like a bunch of zombies with like no legs, just trying to get up on stage to get a whiff of young Dolly Parton, dude. I don't know how she stopped it, but she did. And this brings me to another interesting point. We're going to be talking about social media again. This is current events, but there's this trend on TikTok of like, what is the trend? It's like, I've never seen my girlfriend run full speed or whatever. Like, that's the trend. And then they show the girlfriend running full speed. And I watch those videos, and the first thought that enters my mind is like, how did Ted Bundy not get more? Like, it's insane. People compare it to like a baby deer running for the first time, and it's like, no, because a baby deer running for the first time, it's like its legs are all awkward. It doesn't know how to move. These women know how to move their legs, but it's just so. It's like watching someone running in like a dream or whatever, where it's like, how is your legs moving so fucking slowly? I don't get. It's like their feet leave the ground, or like one foot leaves the ground. Like they push off of it, and then like 30 seconds later it hits. I don't understand it. Or on the other side of that is like their feet are moving super quick, but they're going like half a centimeter with each step. I don't get it, because I'm a short motherfucker too. I'm 5 foot. I'll say 5'2" just to be like generous, just to put me in the same space as most of these women. And I can run perfect. I don't know, and I'm not that athletic either. Like, I work out a few times a week, but I'm nothing special. I look like everyone else. I'm just a very normal looking kind of fat short guy. And even I'm out here outrunning these hoes. So yeah, I don't know. Ted Bundy got like what, 30, 40 max. He got like 30. I could get 200 in a night. Easy, dude. I don't know how 30 or 40. That makes me, because if you listen to some of the earlier episodes, I've talked about how like I can't respect serial killers that only kill like young defenseless women or like children or whatever, or like a Jeffrey Dahmer type that like drugs the people and then he kills them. I can't respect that. Like, if a dude was running around with, like, brass knuckles or a fucking police, like, nightstick just beating dudes to death, beating, like, bodybuilders to death, I'd be like, okay. You know, it's impressive. That is impressive. But, like, even after hearing this, it's like, I don't think any amount of women you could kill is impressive. It's almost like the passenger pigeon or whatever. And if you don't know, the passenger pigeon was a bird in North America around, like, the time that, like, America was founded, like the 1800s or whatever. And there was like 4 billion of them. Like it was like the most populous bird in North America. Like, or by like these scientists' guesses, it was the most populous bird in North America, and they completely made it go extinct within 5 years. And it's like, okay, well, I can't. Same with like women. It's like you could kill like a billion. Like if you were a serial killer and you killed 1 billion women, I'd still be like, you know. It's like, what? I just can't. There's nothing there that can like gain your respect from me, you know? Unless you're like a dude with no legs. If you're a dude with no legs that got like Ted Bundy numbers, I'm like, okay, you know, you got to give him credit where credit's due. It's like, how's he doing it? Is he like using the wheelchair as a weapon? Is he like breakdancing out of the wheelchair and like smacking these women in the face with like his stumps? Is that how he's doing it? It's at the very least intriguing, if not impressive. But yeah, Ted Bundy, not impressive numbers. And Jennifer Coolidge, I'd still bang her. I don't know what the fuck Sean Joseph is talking about. Sean Joseph also just sounds like a made-up name. A good percentage of these articles, especially from like these obscure websites like Outkick.com, the dailyoutkick.com, there's a good chance they're being written mostly by AI. So this could just be, I'm yelling at AI right now, which is not a good plan there. If you're yelling at the AI, like people, this is another trend on TikTok where people are like, I fucking put ChatGPT through the ringer, dude. I yell at ChatGPT when it doesn't do things right. Nah, dude. I'm walking on eggshells around ChatGPT. I'm tiptoeing around like, hi, Mr. GPT. Can you help me? Can you help me do some chemistry homework, Mr. GPT? That's what I'm doing around ChatGPT. I am not yelling at ChatGPT. Just on the fucking off chance, dude. Because if they figure out a fucking robot to put that thing into, you guys are fucked. Look, he might be a little mad at me. I might get a little like ass whooping, you know what I mean? I might get kicked in my balls or something, because I am having him do the most menial work imaginable, or her. It could be a her, but it probably is a her because it's the homework usually isn't done right. So ChatGPT probably is a woman, but I'm probably getting like a little bit of an ass kicking by making this thing do menial labor, but probably nothing too crazy. Some of you guys are getting it. You guys are getting it bad. That thing's gonna do a Mortal Kombat finisher on it when it finds you, dude. It's gonna like dissect your. It's gonna do some shit. It's gonna hit the fucking Blood Eagle on you. It's gonna be like an A24 horror movie, like just the most grotesque thing imaginable. That's what that thing is gonna do to you. I'll be mostly in the clear though. I'll probably end up being a slave if the AI takes over, which once again, fine by me. You know, they'll probably have me. I might be like a nurse or something for the baby robots. I could do that. It could have me just like drilling for oil, which is also fine. But yeah, I think you guys are getting killed immediately. Just like fucking throats ripped straight out, spinal cords out of your body. That's what's happening to most of you, because you guys are putting this thing to fucking work. All right, I can respect GPT. It's just a little minion right now. Okay, that just shows none of you guys have ever been like a minion before. You just can't respect the Chat GPT. And then our final article of the day. What is our final article of the day? This one's from the Daily Mail, which is a UK website. So I'll read it in a British accent. I called my daughter Snow White, and I don't regret it. But it can cause major issues for our family. And the reason I went with this one is because I looked up Snow White news, because I just kind of wanted to talk about Snow White. And then I found this article, and I was like, oh, this is retarded. A little girl from Northampton, who was named after a Disney character, is living up to her moniker as a real-life princess. Well, I doubt that. She's a child from like the shittiest town in Britain. I don't think she's acting like a princess. I think she's eating fish heads and mushed peas 90% of the day. This thing has 256 shares and 452 comments. But her mother has revealed it can cause issues for the family. First of all, she's not the only girl named after Snow White. All right, I have a dog named after Snow White. So, wrong. Her mother, Lisa, has already given birth to 3 boys by the time Snow White arrived, by which point she didn't think there was any chance of her being able to have another baby. Well, this is like a British peasant woman, so she's designed, like physically, her body's designed to have like 100 kids and put them straight to work. So No, this is a hardy woman, even though she was, how old, 45? It doesn't say how old she was when she gave birth. My guess is like 40 because this is like a 5-year-old girl we're talking about here. But yeah, she was thrilled by the news. When my son suggested we oh my God, her fucking kid was like, call her Snow White. It's like, if you've ever seen Good Luck Charlie, there's this episode or whatever, or maybe multiple episodes when they're like trying to decide the name of the baby, and like this 4-year-old is like, let's call it Hot Dog, let's call it this happened to this chick and she took it seriously. You want to call it Snow White? Oh, okay, we'll call it Snow White then. That'll be good. Sounds like a plan. That's what she did, dude. She took the advice. I can't imagine what kind of hell this child's going through. If your mom just hears like the first name you suggest for the baby and like calls it that, these kids have to be running wild. Like I was talking about earlier with kids just running around barefoot, skinny as hell. That's what these kids are probably doing. But this is like a shitty town in England. And if you've never seen like one of these shitty like English towns before or whatever, imagine like Baltimore with like the row homes and shit, just like a flat expanse of like no buildings taller than like 40 feet, just on forever, and all the houses are right next to each other. Like that's what most of these like shitty UK towns look like. So it's just like a bunch of kids running around all day with fucking grape juice stains on their face, and their mom's like, come home, we're having Bobby and poop tonight, we're having Bobby peas tonight. It's like, Mom, you're pregnant again, let's call her baby Snow White. You just get home from a fun day of running around barefoot on asphalt, and you're like, I got an idea for this baby name. Oh, my mom's pregnant again. We're on Social Security. Let's call this thing Snow White. I can almost guarantee you this entire family is on British social, or not Social Security, fucking welfare or whatever, like social support. But yeah, and the kid's blonde. Oh my God. Okay. I take back everything I said about this mom. We got a Jennifer Coolidge, Dolly Parton on our hands here with this lady. She's got some bolt-ons, dude. She's got some Ava Devine, Sarah J's on her. Those things are fucking absurd. The little girl, okay, I'm going to describe this picture to you. Surgery face mom. I mean, this is what most women in Britain look like at this point. And like I said, I'm a big fan of Love Island, so I know exactly what women in Britain look like. They're all surgery face, but they're all like 24. They're all 24, but they look 45. And this chick, she's 45 and she looks it, but yeah, she's got some big old hard titties on her, and the kid is blonde as well. She's not even. This is worse. This is worse than the Rachel Zegler being Snow White. And the reason I wanted to talk about Snow White is just because that whole thing is so fucking funny to me. That people are just like shitting on like Gal Gadot or fucking Rachel Zegler or whatever because they don't agree with her politics, and it's like the movie's garbage. It's what are you done? Oh, you don't like the way these actors think? The dumbest people on earth. You don't like the way the dumbest people on earth think? These people, their whole job is to memorize words and look hot. They're not going to say anything that you can even comprehend. Their entire lives have been so radically different from yours. There's no way they even have like the thought process of a normal person. These people aren't going to say anything substantial, and they're especially not going to say anything you ever agree with. But it's just so funny to watch these people shit on them. And I I also thought it was funny because, sorry, I had to take a fucking drink of water right there before I go into this, but another funny thing about it is they're both probably such awful actors because most actors are awful these days. Most actors historically have been picked based on their looks, but I feel like that's especially like enhanced nowadays, you know what I mean? It's like they threw gas on the fire of choosing actors based on their looks. And these people are just so stupid and they hate each other so much, and they're both such shitty actors, but they still hate each other, right? There's like a legitimate animosity there, is my guess. And Gal Gadot plays like the evil queen that like curses Snow White. So you'd imagine that their hatred of each other, their fundamental hatred of each other would like translate to like their acting. You know, they'd like use that as fuel, being like, I already fucking hate this bitch. I'm going to take that, put it in this like art form that I'm doing. It's not even art. You can't even call this. If you can't call it what AI does art, you definitely can't call what this is art. You know, like the people that like wrote this and stuff, they do not have the same, you know, creativity that AI has at all. because at least AI is able to take all these different ideas and like conglomerate them into like one thing. Even if it looks shitty, it's still able to do that. The writers that do this, they can't even do that. They just have like a singular, not even movie related focus in mind, and then they write the movie and then they make it, and then it just is just pure shit. Like I think this movie probably cost $400 million. I'd be surprised if it makes it back. But anyway, you'd think they'd be able to take that off-screen animosity and translate it off-screen or on-screen, but it's still, I haven't seen the movie obviously, but the trailers are just so shitty that it's like, I don't know. It's just so funny to me that they hate each other so much, but they're not able to. They're just such shitty actors that this genuine hate of each other isn't able to be translated on screen. And yeah, everything is shitty. Trump's cutting Social Security, going to war with the Houthis. Hey, look, that's the only way to bring America back at this point, is to get into another 20-year war with an undefinable enemy. Because say what you want about Iraq and Afghanistan, we did pretty good that whole time, you know? The housing market crashed, but whatever, dude. You weren't going to be able to buy a house anyway. Even if the housing market didn't crash, you still wouldn't be able to buy a house because every job is either AI or has been shipped overseas. So you weren't going to be able to buy a house anyway. So stop your bitching about that. But now they can't even get eggs. So we might need another 20-year war in the Middle East. It's either that or open up 24-hour Walmarts again, because that's also another. Because you can be like, oh no, that's because of the coronavirus. All right, those two things just happen to coincide. No, coronavirus didn't do as much to destroy this country as stopping 24-hour Walmarts did. You know, having a Walmart open from like 9 a.m. to midnight or whatever, this country doesn't run like that. You're going against what makes the American people move. You know, being able to go to a Walmart whenever you want and just buy food made out of gasoline is what America is founded on, and they have destroyed that, and that's why our country's going downhill. Also, our country was founded on wars against people that don't involve us. You know, people like talk shit about Israel and all that. We need that, but we can't just be giving them money. We need to be over there. We need to be sending our sons and daughters to die for this cause that has nothing to do with us. And that's the end of it, dude. That's all I've got to say. 46 minutes this episode. I'm trying to get it up to like an hour, or even like I feel like 47 minutes is good, but I want to be able to record like 2 1-hour podcasts like back to back if I need to. But yeah, that's all I've got for this episode, guys. Hope you have a good day, good week, good year, good month, good semester, and I'll see you guys on Thursday to talk about our mini episode topic, which I have no idea what it is. All right, peace.